Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Thor Love and Thunder review. So, I think this theme of love and Thor sort of cutting his heart off to people at the start of the movie is a great theme to explore, and it makes sense with where Thor was at the end of Avengers Endgame, after Avengers Endgame, with all of the people that he had lost. It would make sense for himself to cut himself off from people, cut himself off from people's love. Because, I mean, he lost so many people. Who's to say he's not going to lose anyone again? And with him being a god and him probably, him living so long, it's likely. So I think that's a great thing to explore with this character. And I think it was done decently. It could have been done better, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I think it was done decently with Thor's arc. He had a pretty good arc, I feel, in this movie. And same with Gore the God Butcher, who is probably my favorite character in this movie. Christian Bale's performance was great. I could really feel the pain. And he didn't feel like he was a terrible person. Um, he felt like a real person with real pain and real experiences, and he didn't seem like he's not the normal villain. He didn't seem super evil, and I kind of agreed with him on many things in this movie, especially with seeing how Zeus is and the other gods, and how they're just hiding away on Omnipotent City. Um, and he is kind of right in some ways. And yeah, I think that was done very well. So yeah, while the theme was good, and I think it was done okay, I feel like the whole theme of love and the whole character arc was sort of shoved in our faces for the whole movie. It was very obvious. Um, and I feel like a theme of the movie should be pretty clear to the audience by the end. But I feel like it was shoved in our faces too much with the characters' character arcs. And I don't feel like, and that was something that was good about Ragnarok. I mean, there was a clear character arc there for the characters, but didn't feel shoved in our faces, right? And yeah, and the comedy as well. I feel like it was a bit too goofy at times, like with that whole montage with Jane and Thor's relationship, and the whole weird thing with like Stormbreaker and Mjolnir somehow being like conscious now, when I feel like when they never seem to be. And the weird like relationship between Thor and Mjolnir, it felt a little bit too goofy to me. So yeah, and like whereas Ragnarok, there was a lot of comedy in that movie, a lot more than any other Marvel movies, but it didn't feel too forced. I feel like this story and the plot was still the main focus, and the characters were still the main focus for the most part. And I think the jokes just landed a lot more in Ragnarok, whereas the jokes here, some of them landed, but at times they just feel a little too goofy, a little too weird for my liking. And I think there was just too much of that. Now, I have to say, while Gore is a good villain and he has a good story, I feel like he didn't feel like enough of a threat. With how powerful Thor is, how powerful we've seen him be in past movies, Gore just being pretty much just a normal person who has his necro sword, I feel like he wasn't as much of a threat. I mean, he has the necro sword, but Thor has his lightning powers. He has Stormbreaker. He has a lot going for him too, and he didn't really feel like a threat. as much as I wanted it to be. And I think something they could have done was have Gore be maybe less of a physical threat and more of an emotional threat. With maybe him actually killing Korg. I feel like the Korg head thing was a little silly. I kind of think he should have actually died. Maybe Valkyrie as well. That way, Thor has again lost people that are important to him, but in the end, he still chooses love, even though it might hurt. Uh, so yeah, I think that would have been better for this movie. Um, and yeah, so overall, it was a decent movie. The villain in this movie was pretty good. Uh, I liked the theme. Thor had a pretty good character arc, but overall, I think the theme was a little shoved in our faces, and I think there's a bit too much comedy in this movie, and it just didn't make it feel as serious. It sort of made the whole movie feel a little bit like a joke. So yeah. Overall, I give this a 7 out of 10. It was a decent movie. I'd say it's my third favorite of the Marvel Phase 4 movies, under Spider-Man No Way Home and Shang-Chi. So yeah. It's a decent movie. Definitely not as good as Ragnarok, in my opinion. Tell me what you saw in the comments. Where would you rank this on your ranking of the Thor movies? What is your ranking of the Thor movies? Yeah, tell me all of that in the comment section down below, and thanks for watching.